Hey, we've got ourselves a sponsor on the show tonight.
Yeah.
The one and
always
only Miss Kelly Wiley. Miss, how you say that? What am I supposed to say? Miss Kelly Wiley.
I don't know. People just call me Kelly.
Just Kelly. All right.
That simplifies it a bit. Yeah.
This has been a long time coming, Wiley.
You've asked me several times. I've given a lot of excuses.
We let him stand in there. So
I know.
But, yeah, he does all right.
People don't really know. I don't like to be in front of crowds or really be out a lot. That's just who I am.
Yeah. Well, isn't everybody getting that way?
I've always been this way. But I think since COVID, definitely a lot more. I'm just kind of do my work during the day, put my jammies on early, and sit at home kind of girl.
Yeah.
There was a day, though, you used to get.
There was a day I was really fun.
Yeah, I can remember.
Don't act like you're not anymore. Come on.
Well, this guy's been around forever.
All of us get older, but I mean,
Right.
we still got it in us, man.
I got it in me for a little
Every
bit.
now and then, in spurts, right?
Every once in a while, and on vacation, I'll
there you go.
I'll have a little bit of fun.
I was thinking today, though, you guys are both hard chargers. Like you guys are highly productive. Like you guys get after it. I mean, you're running marathons. You're flying different places. You're vacationing. You're raising kids. You're just, that's a lot. I mean, I think anybody can respect the fact that, like, right now in life, I think all of us are just getting hit with a lot. But I mean, you manage it pretty good. I mean,
Oh, thank you.
so I mean, you can't. The reason I say that is because I was listening to this thing today, and it was one of them hustle, podcast deals. You can't go out if you're going to be highly productive anymore at our age.
Yes,
you can't go out and get after.
That's the key factor, dude.
Oh yeah,
I mean, you can't be going out during the week 3 nights a week and getting bombed.
Well, not that we ever did.
I mean, I've never done that anyways. But yeah, I mean, no, like if we were living like we did back in the Western Southern days, man,
25 years ago.
Yeah,
25 years ago.
I mean, I couldn't do anything today.
No.
I mean,
Nothing. I'd be done for the week after one night.
Yeah. Yeah. It's hard for me to go out on a weeknight and have even like 5 beers, 6 beers. That'll hurt me the next day.
Oh yeah.
Or it'll hurt my productivity.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Yeah,
like,
I mean, it won't necessarily kill me, but I mean, who can hit a Monday or a Tuesday with a headache?
Yeah.
And I just don't have any interest in that.
yeah.
I noticed that. I think, I'll be 50 this year. So I noticed that 5 years ago. And it's kind of and you want to compete with the best. So in order to do that, you have to eat right, you have to exercise, and you got to get I love to sleep. I love a good 8 hours. Mike and I flew to Vegas for a conference a few weeks ago. I slept for 13 hours straight, and it was the best sleep of my entire life.
You need it, don't you?
And I needed it because of the jet lag, and I was training, and I was there for coaching, I was there for real estate, and I was there to learn. I know it was Vegas, it was fun, but I just wanted to go in well rested, and you pay a lot of money to go to those events, and I wanted to be able to bring that back home and use it for something.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I mean, Vegas, great city, right?
Yeah.
I have to go out there about 3-4 times a year for work. Terrible place to go for work. I mean, unless you can just stay focused. I mean, because
There's some animals out there.
well, I mean, what do you want to do? You can do it there. I mean, it's got everything.
24/7.
Yeah.
And people were. They were.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
I'm just not one of those guys though
Yeah.
that can go out and swing the hammer till 1 a.m. or whatever. Particularly out there, it's like 4 o'clock in the morning,
Yeah.
and then be up the next day and be productive.
Yeah.
I mean, there's nothing worse for me now at this age, like working a trade show or having to run appointments and things with a hangover.
Oh yeah.
I mean, that's just
Well,
that's cheating myself and my family, dude.
Well, that's right. And I think you get to that age where you're like, hey, I have to give this. This needs a lot of me.
Yes,
know?
I've got to take away from some things to keep,
Absolutely. So tell us about real estate.
it's like the faucets just turned back on. I was saying that earlier.
noticed.
It is busy.
What do you think the change is? Is it interest rates? I haven't talked to Eddie.
So interest rates, yes and no. I mean, they're not coming down like we thought they would. They will. But I think I also think that the buyers have now settled into the new rate and they're okay. And here's the thing. It doesn't really matter what the interest rate is. It's what your monthly payment is, what you're comfortable paying. How long can you pay that until we get to a point where you can refi it, right? And how long are you going to stay in the house? And I think a lot of people got real quiet last fall. Like it got real October.
They got nervous.
They got really nervous, and buyers just kind of slowed down for the holidays. Sellers were still coming out, but not nearly as much. Our inventory for sellers is still just stupid low. I mean, we need houses like yesterday. There's just not enough houses. And so a lot of the houses that got listed in October of last year, they're just now going under contract. So there was a bubble, right?
Yeah.
So now they're all going.
Bubble? Is that what they call a bubble?
Like a real estate bubble?
Yeah. Like whenever.
Yeah.
Explain. Geez whiz. Explain a bubble to me.
Well, like when you get caught in it, right? So people get caught in situations. So like there's always a great time. What's a good time to list? What's a good time to sell? I always say every single day, right? And it depends on the person. But for some reason, I just noticed last year, some great houses went on the market in October and there weren't buyers for it. Now, some of them were in a little bit higher price. Our average price point in Jackson is still really, really low. So in Southern Ohio, you could get a nice house for $200,000. Other places in Ohio, that's just not going to happen, right?
I've been in Southern Columbus all week, and like that Obetz area, Groveport, I think is what I would have called that before. Regular houses in subdivisions, not new subdivisions, 25-year-old subdivisions right now are $250.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what
and they're
going
okay.
For. Yeah, and they're nothing fancy. I mean, it'd be just like going anywhere around here.
Go about 6 or 8 miles north, and that same house would be $500,000.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. What is a house in German Village right now going for? Like a 15 square foot house.
Well, I mean, we watch them all the time. So we have a short-term rental there, and I love German Village. I mean, that was when I was in college, I knew at some point I would live in German Village at some point, and that was one of my dreams. And then we were able to get a short-term rental there that we utilize when we can. But quite frankly, I'm all about the money. Like, let's rent it out. Let's do whatever we can with it. So you can't touch anything in German Village. $500,000 was where
$6.
Fives are a steal, and then if you're going to be on City Park or you're going to be right by Schiller, you're 1.2, 1.3 going up from there. So
and that's not going back down because of there is so many people coming to Ohio right now. We were, that'll kind of transition us into this next thing with especially this local area, but Columbus is trickling out. I would say down. I don't know that we will be that far down, but it will cause some trickle down, but like I can see Circleville, like that, it's going to get out into that area.
It's already bad in Circleville.
Is it?
So I was fortunate enough to list a house last fall in Circleville, and it was a local friend here, had their kid let me list with them, and it went for a really nice price that down here, it wouldn't even be comparable. Great house.
So it's already there.
It's already there. But so anyone in Circleville, Chillicothe is really hard to get into now. And then we still have decent price homes here. The problem that we're finding is people that are first-time home buyers or people that thought that they used to be like, I want to buy $100,000 house. Well, they just don't really exist anymore. And if they do, they're in bad shape. And these first-time home buyers want to do first-time home loans.
They have to pass.
And let me tell you, all the rules have changed again for first-time home buyers, for USDA loans and VA loans. They are so strict now. Some of my really good friends are appraisers, and they're like, Kelly, it is on. Like the banks they're making them report everything. So, I mean,
and if that home can't pass an inspection, you better be ready to bring money to the table.
Well,
and I mean, the whole thing with the first time home buyers, a reduced down payment, right?
Yeah, they get a reduced down payment, but then they're probably asking for seller concessions because they don't have the other monies, and then they're in competition. And you're seeing a lot more cash or conventional only out there right now because the sellers don't want to deal with it, and
they can move too fast.
They can move fast enough. They're going to always choose cash or conventional every single time because it's very, very, very rare for any type of loan that's a special loan not to come back from appraisal and being dinged for something. It could be something super small like a safety rail or a GFCI. And it could be a lot more. I have seen some really silly things lately where they've basically had us redo a shed because the shed had value. And the seller's like, well, we'll just take the shed off, or the buyer's like
that lowers,
and then they're like, it's lowering it by like $2,000.
Yeah. So, and sellers probably just aren't willing to do that.
Some are, some are not. That's in the education of when you go to the listing to explain to them where we're at and what this means. And when I walk through a house, I walk through with an appraiser's eyes. Like, what's it going to comp for? What's it going to sell for? What's sold in the last 6 months? And safety issues. If we're going to go a special loan, is it going to pass? And if it's not going to pass, what's my list, my punch list, so that I can get a contractor in there? How much is it going to cost? So that we're already prepped and ready to go.
Right.
Hey, guys, let's pay some bills here. Tonight's show is brought to you by the Kelly Wiley Group of Keller Williams Excel Realty. I tell you, we all know Kelly, and we all know the group down at Kelly Wiley Realty, and I'm telling you, you won't find a better class of people to deal with. A verifiable fact, something that I found very interesting. They are the #1 real estate agency in Southern Ohio, and it doesn't shock me. I tell you, there's 180 different items that a home buyer and a home seller must do whenever you buy or sell a house. The Kelly Wiley team is great at all of them. They will help you out from start to finish. They have some of the most up-to-date processes and systems that you can possibly dream of. You're going to love the whole entire experience. So if I were you, I would give those guys a call at 740-577-3795. That's 740-577-3795. Or you can also look at all of their inventory at kellywileygroup.com. So, for example, you go into a house and you notice it's got a cracked foundation. You are going to go ahead and get a job, get an estimate, have that with the whenever you show the house, factor that in the loan, or at least be able to back it up somewhere on paper of why you're taking that out or whatever.
If you've got a cracked foundation and the appraiser notes it, you're not going to close that loan unless it's fixed. They flat out won't do it anymore.
Yeah.
Unless you're talking about a conventional in-house loan at a local bank, not going to happen.
Yeah. Huh. Yeah, that's. I know that stuff was tightening it up. I mean, everything's tightening it up. Even the insurance world was tightening up.
Sure.
And
I'm not trying to scare people because anything can pass. It's just, how do you do it? And then I've had some sellers say, well, I only want to do conventional. But, there are a lot of companies out there doing conventional loans that the appraiser still has to treat it like a first-time loan because they're going to sell it. So if it's not held in-house, then there's a really strong chance that conventional loan is going to have to meet every single requirement that FHA, VA, or USDA has to.
What are you seeing the most of down here? What style loans?
I mean, 90% of the buyers in Southern Ohio are first-time home buyers or want to use their VA loan, which veterans should be able to use their VA loan. And then USDA. USDA is super tough because that's zero money down. And that means they really don't have any skin in the game. And sellers get real weary of USDA loans.
Okay. So why would you, what would that tell you population-wise? You would be the first hand to see this. What is happening to like the Southern Ohio population right now?
Southern Ohio population is seeing a lot of people from up north come in. A lot of people from Columbus, Circleville, Chillicothe, Athens. During COVID, I had more sales from Californians than I've ever seen in my entire career here. So what we're seeing is people from the outside are seeing the value of living here. It's a beautiful place to live. And people are paying primo dollars to come here. So
that's is this for second homes, Kelly, or are they primary residents?
A lot are second homes. So a lot of the land that you see me list are cabins. Those are going to cash buyers or buyers that want a retreat or a getaway. We're also seeing people just tired of the city life and they're retiring and they want to. I have a couple right now buying a house in Chillicothe. We just did their final walkthrough on Saturday. Great referral from another agent that gave it to me. We get tons of referrals from other agents, and their biggest thing was they have lived in Columbus their whole life, and they're just tired of the city and they want a little bit of privacy, and they were ecstatic with what they got
to get down here.
They were ecstatic. Yes.
We were talking before the show. I mean, not that I'm moving or not that you're moving. I know you've talked about it.
We were real serious about it about 5 years ago.
Yeah, was that 5?
Yeah.
Jeez,
time flies.
I remember you called me and you were like, "Hey, man, And
we went as far as to look at some places. I mean, we were at least looking at maybe getting a condo up there.
And that just came down to your parents. Everybody's parents was here, and it just didn't make any sense to leave the house or leave home.
Right at that time.
That's why German Village really appealed to me, because my dad's in Kingston. So it's an in-betweener. So no matter what, I can get to him really fast.
Yeah. I mean, you could probably be there in 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Well, it's crazy. Like, I think there's even you see like a lot of our buddies as parents moving up there. And I think it's because of healthcare. So it's
access to healthcare. And then a lot of their kids have moved up there
because
they just want to go up there and live by their grandkids.
Yeah. And, so it's funny to me watching the Columbus crowd come here. And I would say it's 2-1 that we go up there and they come down here.
What we're really seeing are parents that decided to stay here. Their kids that moved away after college and got had a career, had a stint somewhere else, another state. They come back here now, and which is great for Jackson and Southern Ohio, because now we've got younger people here invested in the community.
We need some young cats.
Yeah, there's been a lot move back. There's been a lot.
And I got to give a shout out to like Josie. What's her name?
Raider.
Yeah, she's doing. We needed that. There's been a group kind of doing everything for years, and I think in order to evolve, you have to have that influx of new people,
some new blood in there, man.
For sure. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
So Kelly, tell us a little bit about how you've evolved your business from like a referral base. You mentioned, referrals to where your business is not. I mean, a lot of people might not understand that your business isn't just Jackson, Ohio or Jackson County based.
Yeah.
You could explain that.
Sure. So like last year we did over 10 counties wide in our area. I just really started trying to treat it more like a business. And what's business opportunities? What does that mean for our community? So I was quite happy being Kelly Wiley Realty. That was great for me. I loved it. And I knew that I needed more and that we needed more here. So when the opportunity came, I decided to go to Keller Williams. One of the biggest reasons I did it because they have a huge referral network.
Let's back up here. So I don't think maybe, a lot of people, I think it's been long enough now, they forget. So at one time you were the Kelly Wiley Realty.
Yes, I opened in 2013. Before that, I was an agent.
Which was what? Kelly Wiley Realty was 100% independent.
My own. Yeah. Yes, I was the broker in charge.
Yes.
So I owned it, had indie agents underneath me, and, it was great. I did really well. Not displeased with anything that happened. And then it was just one of those things. We started traveling more. I started hanging out with people that just bigger thinkers than me, right? And that's what you want.
Were you coming to a spot where you're thinking, okay, how do I scale this thing? I mean, is it like, that's what comes to my mind, like when you're looking at, making changes.
I don't think scale's the word. Maybe not in evolve.
That business. Right.
I kind of call it like unconscious incompetence. You don't know what you don't know.
Sure.
Right?
Sure.
I didn't know exactly what I wanted, but I knew I wanted more. And I had been in the corporate world before I moved to Jackson. I knew what the corporate world was like. And I thought, what if we did it like this and we could make this more enticing and bring a better package to the table?
Yeah.
And then on top of it, with Keller Williams, it's great because it's a referral network and it's a group of people all around that they like to refer to other Keller Williams agents if they can. And I work with all kinds of agents. It's not just Keller Williams. I get referrals from all over. But once you get that reputation, and some people say, well, I don't want a referral. I'll take a referral all day long. I will gladly pay someone for a referral for their trust to get their client. And then when their client's here, then that's my client, right? So, and then it just was repeat business over and over and over again. So that was a huge draw to me. And then just so like being a broker, there's a lot of responsibility. And I loved the responsibility. And I also didn't like the responsibility. I like listing homes. So when you're so busy writing checks and balancing things and trying to figure everything else out, it takes you away from your one thing.
Sure.
And then I just got really, I'm a nerd. I love books. I started reading a lot, and I started getting into the MREA, which is a Million Real Estate Agent, part of Gary Keller. And I started reading these charts and these org models and these systems. And I'm like, I can do this. But I had to take many steps backwards because I was so busy doing the busy work that I had to figure out how I could implement it the correct way so that I could run this properly so that it could scale.
Did you have to step back for a period of time and, like probably financially and everything else, it was probably a big investment and it probably took some time to ramp up, correct? Was it almost like a restart?
I would call it it's like burning the ship, right?
Yeah.
And yes, money-wise, time-wise, but it was a challenge, and I like a challenge. And I also knew I was going in the right direction. I think a lot of people, I think you thought I was crazy. I was like, why would you give up? Why would you go to this place? And it's like, for me, it was
I knew exactly.
You knew what I was doing.
Yeah, I knew what you did.
It was an enhancement, right? And then so I remember being the first person to put lock boxes on the door. Like, back in the day, the selling agent would show up and also show the house to the buying agent and the couple. And that's the worst thing that you can do. That couple wants to work with their agent and walk through privately so that you're not listening to them. And that's just something like I got right away. And I also got, if I did that, how many more could I go list and take care of those clients while the buyer's agent takes care of the buyer, and or if I'm the buyer's agent, but we're all working together for the same reason, which is to get the best deal for our client.
Hey guys, time to pay some bills. This show brought to you tonight by Brad and Sarah Munn, owners of your local McDonald's restaurants. Brad and Sarah have done a lot for our community, and McDonald's has done a lot for all of us. The statement, "I'm loving it," we can all relate to that. We've been loving it for years, and we love what they do for our communities and our families. But let me talk about a big charity that they do, and that is the Ronald McDonald House. Man, anytime you get a chance to leave your change for that, it's a great thing. They allow parents of sick children to stay with their kids at the hospital for free. And that's just the kind of things that McDonald's does. Get out and support your McDonald's restaurant.
Oh, yeah. And, owning a business like you did, I mean, and you still own a business, so to speak. I mean, I think the customer sometimes gets twisted on like, okay, let's, even me, leaving out of Gillum Insurance and you leaving Kelly Wiley Realty still stayed in the game. And it's like, hey, I'm a business guy. You're a business person. I know whenever business deals start going south, not that they were going south, but I'm saying like I knew that evolution was going to be hard for me to keep up with without a steady partner. I didn't feel like I had enough support, by being the way I was with Gillum Insurance, and I thought it's time to make a change.
Right.
It just in order to adapt and bring on the new and because you have to. How long? I mean, man, me and you started off 20 years ago knocking on doors, basically.
Yes.
And I mean, now look at how far that's all come whenever it comes to sales. I mean, the whole sales thing has just.
That's kind of like, if you're a hairdresser,
yeah,
and you're not constantly learning the new hairstyle, what are you doing?
You're dying.
Right?
Yeah.
And that's how I think about real estate. I want to learn everything new every time I can so I can bring it to my clients so they can get the best service possible.
And you realized that partnering with like Keller Williams was the best place to get it for the money.
Well, and I wasn't just, it's like, I don't want to be just the sign in the yard. I want to be, I want to be more. I want to offer more to them. And then, there's a lot of things that we do. And, like when we started using virtual assistants, that was just a game changer for me.
Yeah.
And, and then, so I'm a big template girl. I write templates for everything. Everything's standard. I like everything in order as I go because life goes so fast and your day goes so fast. And that, like at the end of the day today, that's what I was doing, sending templates out. So I've got someone else that can help me follow up, which puts reminders and everything else on my schedule because I can't remember everything on my own.
Yeah. You, like I said, good partnerships.
Time blocking is essential.
Yes, and that could
so
be with
when you're
anything.
talking about the evolution of going from being the sign in the yard to where you are now, what is the difference? I mean, what are the additional services?
Yeah, I think it's what can I offer the client, right? So I look back and I laugh and think when I first started, I was basically everything. I went to the listing. I filled out hand paperwork while I was there. I shot the photos while I was there. And then we would get it on an MLS, which, multiple listing service, which back in the day, not everybody else was on that, but I found that to be really important at the time. And then, I was a sign person. I was a lockbox person. I did so many things that it didn't give me enough time to really think through the best service for that particular client. So that's where I really slowed down and peeled back. And by leverage, right? And by paying other people to do other things for me, it helps me focus more intently. And then I call it a value proposition. What can I bring to my client, and how will they feel through this process so that they know that we are taking the best photos with the best photographer and it's getting marketed correctly? How many multiple listing services can I be in? Because the truth of the matter is, agents in other areas aren't looking at Zillow. They're not looking, I use homes.com. That app is amazing. That's going to scale, by the way. That's going to blow up in the next year. Homes.com is going to be the app for everybody to use. This guy has invested billions, and it's an amazing app. When they get it all the way right, it's going to be perfection. I'm really excited about that app. But just like that, it's like the listings and like, where are you going to put these things and how many, and the agents, they don't look at Zillow. They want to go into their MLS. They want to pull the docs. They want to see, because we do A to A remarks. It's called agent to agent. They want to read what's going on. They want to be educated so that when they schedule it, then they can come down and show the home property properly. And my whole idea is I get a house completely ready with so many notes, down to the utilities, everything that you need to. My goal is to not have that agent ask me a single question. So if they don't have to ask me a question, I've done my job right, so they can write the offer for my client, and then I can present the best offer for them.
And then probably they'll come back to you again, that agent, because you made their life easier.
That's so true, right? It's
I just watched you sell the same house twice in a year?
Oh yeah,
Chandler's.
Oh yeah,
yeah. Yeah. That's the second time you've had that one in a year.
Well, and we are huge repeat business. We're huge on referrals. We're huge on repeat. This is a small town.
Oh yeah.
And that's really where we get a lot of my bread and butter is I call it relationship, not transactional. And if you're transactional in this business, you're going to be dead in the water.
Yeah. What do you mean by transactional versus relationship?
So a lot of agents came in, not really in Southern Ohio. We've had agents that are great agents that's been here for a really, really long time. I've got mad respect for them. And then we've got agents that've come in the last 3 to 4 years, great agents, but they've never seen a down market. They've not seen what I saw in 2007. They didn't see when the USDA government shut down, was that 7-8 years ago? And we literally sat without a paycheck for like 90 some days because they wouldn't pass any of these loans through. So you've got to have liquidity. You've got to be able to put up and keep that stuff going for your people. So what happens is when those leads were so easy, I call it transactional, because you weren't really getting to know the people.
Right.
You took a call, you showed a house, you wrote an offer, boom, on to the next one. I like to sit down and get to know my sellers. That's my favorite thing is, I was at a house today, and the seller's referral from a Keller Williams agent in Columbus, and I knew I wasn't going to get that listing right away. It's a nurture. It might be 6 months, it might be 18 months, but this gentleman is going to be moved to a care facility, and it was one of those things where the kids just wanted me to come in, meet him, price it, let them know what they were going to net, so that they knew how long they had. For him. And that's, I like to do that. I like to get to know my people. That's really important to me. And I guess it's probably why I shut down at night and I'm tired, because I'm so into them all day long that when I'm done, I'm done.
So what would you say now is, you bring up an interesting point. You've been in the business a long time. You've seen down markets. You've seen this booms. I mean, how would you say you've seen the business change? Like from a competitive perspective, is it more competitive now, or less? I mean, did a lot of people get kind of, taken out of the business because they didn't adapt?
You mean real estate agents?
Yes.
So I didn't see as many people leave as I thought I would at the beginning of the year, but that just tells me they had some reserve, or maybe they don't know what's happening. I mean, this last year and a half has been a shift. And when I talk about a shift, I'm talking about a major, major difference of what one would make from one year to the next. And, down here, you got to do a lot of units.
Oh my,
It's a lot.
High volume
deals, right? And we've seen a lot of people leave. A lot of people go to other businesses or, try other agencies. I think at the end of the day, this is not for the faint of heart. You got to really want to do it. The biggest thing I see is agents get burnt out because they're so busy being busy that they're not running a business.
Yeah.
And they're running around. They're telling,
and their results are probably all over the place.
They're like this, right?
Yes.
And your goal is to do this.
Steady.
The steady Eddie, right? And that's just kind of like, I've never been one to walk around and tell you how busy I am.
Yeah.
I'd rather just go do my work and put my head down.
I've seen a lot of businesses, and I've not ever been in the real estate business, but I've seen a lot of businesses and in the sector I work in, the over glorification of busy stagnates more businesses and more sales teams and things like that than almost anything else.
Absolutely.
Like everybody feels like they've got to get up and grind, right? But like, what are you doing when you're grinding? Like, are you spinning your wheels or are you making the needle move?
Hey, guys, we got to pay the bills. Let's talk about AP Prep and how you look them up at apprep.info. You go in there. If you got a child and they need performance training, that's one of the things that they offer. And it's simple. Their performance training, it drives their athletes to seize full genetic potential. And first of all, they're going to assess your kids' overall balance, their mobility, their hand-eye coordination, their foot speed, understand all their body mechanics, their output, their strength, everything. Look them up, apprep.info. All the info's there. You'll see it. Then they got a boxing class for the adults. It's $10, or you can join by the month. These workouts, you can burn up to 1,000 calories an hour. So, guys, you can't beat it. Look it up. I know it's a drive over there. It's a good time for you and your kid. You'll love it. Do some good bonding time. apprep.info. Look them up.
Yeah. And a lot of people in real estate, if you're not working on your business while you're working in your business, you'll have no business in 90 days. That's just the way it is. You can't focus on what's right in front of you. You got to have a pipeline.
Absolutely. We knew that from the insurance business, man. That was,
you had to keep it full. I'm back. I'm in there now.
Well, I would argue in any sales business, you're only as good as your pipeline. You're only as good as where you're going to be 60 to 90 days out. And if you have no idea what that is, then you're not in business.
You're in real trouble. And there are a lot of people aren't running P&Ls. They're not doing profit and loss. They're not.
There's people that think they're making money that are going in the hole.
So yes, and there are Instagram famous,
right?
There are these fancy. This is not like these really fancy shows that you're seeing on TV.
Right.
That's not what real estate is.
It's not glamorous.
It's not. It's not glamorous. And you're there to do a service. You're not there. But I laugh. I like to watch the shows. Yeah. That's not what it's like.
Yeah.
Right? It's not. And
I bet you get a ton of them because, man, I see them from all over the United States. Just there are people that are and I'm not saying, you, like, to go back to your point, I'm not saying that's not what it's like, but that's not the field work.
Right.
Because I do think, I learned this here in the last few months, there is a whole, real estate has so many slices of that pie. Like, real estate being the pie. It drives everything. Yeah. Money's backed by it. Money's, it's so many pieces.
Well, and I think when you look at a lot of those shows where those people are successful, and maybe a lot of them are just successful because of their show, I don't know. Uh-huh. What I always think in my head when I'm seeing somebody on a show like that where they're selling these multi-million-dollar homes and doing that, I'm like, man, the thing is, they're showing this piece of the process. I bet that at some point that lady or gentleman used to get up early, stay up late, and it took them probably about 20 years to figure it out.
Yeah.
to get to where they are.
I just laugh because, I was fortunate enough to sell $1 million house last year in Jackson. That doesn't come around very often.
No, it doesn't.
But that was not what I would consider like the $1 million listing show.
Right.
It wasn't easy. Great sellers, great buyers that came in from out of state.
Yeah.
And that's what you're going to get. But it took time.
Oh, yeah.
And energy and marketing and talking to the right people to get the right people down here.
Oh, man.
To look.
I mean, selling $1 million home in this area, I mean, there's just not very many.
It's coming.
I mean,
It's coming.
Oh, yeah. Hopefully.
Like we talked about, if what keeps happening around Columbus, then all of Southern Ohio, and especially Southeastern Ohio, because of the Google and Intel corridor there.
Yep.
Well, and you got all these people sitting on 2.5%, 3.5% interest right now. They're like, well, I'm not selling. Well, don't sell. Why don't you become an investor? Why don't you buy something else?
Yeah, pull your money out and you go buy something else. Yeah.
Yeah, like leave that, keep that house, rent it out.
Yeah.
Do
Look at your
something
net.
with it. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think you're starting to see people do that. Like I've talked to a lot of people in Columbus in the last few weeks, and a lot of them are starting to get property here. They're taking out a second mortgage, locking up one down here, going to play the market and keep that one, but they're going to buy down here while they can. Though it's cheap, and let the inflation get them up there. I mean, it's so many pieces to this thing, to real estate. I mean, it literally pretty much backs everything, right?
Well,
it really does.
I mean, yeah, everybody needs a place to live, man.
Everybody needs a place to do everything.
Yeah.
And people say, well, I'll just rent. Well, then that's 100% interest.
There you go.
And there's times and places for it, like my mom, for example. I mean, I've said, at some point, renting would not be a bad gig for her.
Right.
Let somebody else take care of everything and just pay a fee and be done with it. I kind of, it's weird how I've kind of shifted on that. Like,
I think it depends on the individual circumstance, though.
Yeah, it depends on the structure.
Yeah.
It depends on the maintenance of the property.
Right.
How would you like to put $50,000? And don't think that it's any cheaper. How would you like to put $50,000 in a new roof and back porch and soffit and all that stuff whenever you're 75?
Yeah, it's not what you got in mind.
About a wasted dollar.
It's not what you got in mind.
You can throw a tarp over it and outrun you, but
yeah. So, I mean, I think that's it always changes, man. On that line, like where we're in our life, like I don't think right now we would want to be renting, man. I mean,
well, I
guess it just depends. I mean, I don't know. I can't say that. Every circumstance is different.
And every place to rent had to have been sold to a landlord.
Yeah. There you go.
Or
Right.
or do you still do property management? Do you still do that, like where you go in and run a rental?
So I'm not a property management person. So
you guys did do that at one time, didn't you?
I've never done property management. No. The only thing I've ever done is we have our executive rentals. So I do that, or I'll help friends if they need to get a rental or things like that. But that's not my shtick. That's not my thing.
Well, but you broker the deal. Like you'll broker a rental contract.
Yeah, I can do that. Yeah, we do rental contracts. But but property management is a little bit different. So property management means I would retain a fee after it's rented, and I would be the person to collect the money.
Everything.
I get all, and I just don't. That's not my
Where
thing.
now you will, like, let's say you're a business and you're looking for a spot to lease in Jackson or wherever. If you're just looking for a spot to lease, you will go find them, and they can even lease it through you.
Absolutely. And I've got a lot of great friends that have bought downtown buildings here, and they let me do that over and over again.
Yep.
We find great tenants for them. A lot of people, executive rentals upstairs, we do that as well. So downtown is really it's come a long way. We're excited. I'm going to be moving into my upstairs apartment this fall. So.
Well, let's shift over to Wiley.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, so not only are you, do you run this real estate and everything else, but hey, let's not forget, you obviously may be a pretty good mom.
That's my first job, right?
Yeah, and because your son, congratulations, is you want to make the announcement?
Well, I mean, Drew Wiley going to be a West Point cadet, man.
West Point
United States Military Academy. What an unbelievable honor. Oh. I mean, and then let's not forget Emma, who's going to be going to London.
Yep.
I mean, they normally don't send the dumb ones into programs like that.
And
your oldest is a teacher in Columbus. Yeah. I mean, you've pretty much got them all out of the house and going, man. I mean, my God, if I could write a contract right now, I'm not even asking for West Point or anything like that. Just, my goodness, let's get him out of the house and not be on drugs or anything like that.
Listen, that's always your first goal, right?
I know.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I'm really proud of the kids. They're all independent. They do their own thing. I was crying around like a crybaby to my dad because they're all leaving me, and my dad said, "Well, you raised them to do this."
Isn't that kind of what you want?
So I'm like, "You're so right," but that's kind of my thing. Tell every one of them, "Don't worry, wherever you go, I'm going to follow you."
Yeah.
They're like, "Are you moving?" No. I'll just buy another place and rent it out, and I can come visit you.
Yeah.
So but I'm super proud of Drew. That's it's a huge honor.
It took a lot of work to get that done.
He did that, though.
Yeah, and he did it all. It was all 100% self-driven.
Yeah. It's he got accepted quite a few places. I'm really proud of him and what he's doing. He's a disciplined gentleman.
Yeah, so, I've had the privilege of knowing that young man since he was a really little kid. And I told him the other night, I was like, "Hey, I know you're going to get to this, but I just want to tell you, you're welcome for all of the guidance that that I provided and the poor example.
Yeah,
you're welcome.
You're welcome." Yeah. Man, I got to
he didn't really think it was that funny.
I don't know that I've ever seen him like carry on laughing.
He's pretty serious, man.
He's pretty serious. He's been serious.
Yeah.
There will be a day whenever he will let it all soak in.
If you could hear him on his Xbox at
night, he'll talk a little smack on that.
Really?
Oh.
Yeah.
He was such a joy to let Gibson see over at AP. Like I really got a lot out of what I do still to this day, but like last year it was Cade and Drew and all these just savages. And man, to watch those, I would tell you like how good he did. And I just brag on you all the time.
Yeah. Hey guys, while we're paying the bills, let's talk about one of our oldest sponsors that's been with us since the beginning. Geiger Brothers. Geiger Brothers is headquartered in Jackson, Ohio, with offices in Columbus, Ohio, and Knoxville, Tennessee. We provide construction services in Ohio, Kentucky, West Virginia, and Tennessee. A veteran and dynamic staff of talented people, symbolic of our 100-year history of success, gives Geiger Brothers a distinct advantage. Leveraging that experience for our customers allows us the ability to provide consistent and superior performance for their construction, engineering, and fabrication needs. And hey, we've had several of these guys on our shows. Scott Massey, Kyle Hickey, Shay Meredith, just to name a few. Go back, look through some of the old episodes and get to know them. It's a great group of people that have been with us for a long time, and we certainly appreciate it. So enjoy tonight's show, courtesy of Geiger Brothers here in Jackson.
Man, to see him just get after it. And I mean, there's no other way to say it. Just full go, 100. And he was just so focused, much like he is now. You could just see it in his eyes that good things were going to happen. Yeah. And I mean, it was great to watch. I'm happy for him.
Yeah.
I'm happy people like him choose to serve our country. So that's,
What an unselfish choice. Yeah. Because if you can get in there, I mean, my goodness, he could have gone anywhere he wanted to. I mean,
he was a history buff since the time he was a little boy. He loved it.
What had he always kind of looked towards the military academies, or?
I'm trying to remember when he kind of started to express it. He's just his own bird. I mean, and God love him. He has two older sisters that just they rock and rolled in that world, and he was that third child, so he just had to really shine, right?
Here he is.
Yeah, all three in their own, and you come up like Emma Grace. Yeah. And she's a real estate agent as well.
Oh, I know.
She's got a great little side hustle.
Not a bad little summer gig, huh?
she sold more
Christmas, yeah.
So that kid, not to take it away from Drew, I know we were talking about him.
No, it's fine.
So Drew's my sign runner. He does my signs for me. He does all kinds of. I've always made all three of the kids had to work for me. That was just the way it was. Yeah. Emma had to work for me. She got her license when she was 18. She came back. She's done a lot of stuff with me. I brought her in more of an operations role and writing things, helping me with my systems. And then she's like, "Mom, please just let me start showing some houses."
Yeah.
I'm like, "All right, kid, go." And 7 houses
She's
and
so,
one
You know,
son.
I think that's incredibly impressive because I would think that it would be, and perhaps I'm wrong, I think it would be difficult at that age to sell properties. I mean, you know.
I think that it's only difficult if you don't have the confidence in yourself,
yourself
to know
to
what
do
you're
it.
doing. And
Yeah.
she just has it.
She always has.
She has always had it. I wish I had it. Whatever she has, I would like to buy it and keep it.
Now, are you going to be the number one recruiter of her when she's done with school and everything? Are you going to? Is there any you know, maybe trying to say, hey, you know, I think you'd be really good at this.
I would love that. And I also know how talented she is. And they were already recruiting her at Ohio State. I mean, she just got a great award at Ohio State. She was top 2% at the Fisher School of Business.
Unbelievable.
She has, I mean, she was a TA. She has, you know, she's done everything. I mean, you know, she spent her summers in Costa Rica, climbed rock walls in Colorado.
What a college experience.
Right. Yep. And of course I let her do all of that because I wanted her dad and I wanted her to have that kind of experience.
Sure,
and we but like I said, she didn't have to pay for college. She got a scholarship for it.
Right.
So that was great. And now she's going to tap in, and she flew over to London and she wants to go to grad school, and she's going to major in psychology. And she really wants to work on that business psychology and operations side. So I don't know. The chances of me getting, I'm going to try.
Okay, yeah. The answer is yes.
well, she's got 3 or 4
but
more
I'll,
people to
I'll
be.
tell you what, though, she can do whatever she wants.
She do whatever she wants.
And she will.
And she
She's
will.
proven it. Yeah.
But you know, at that age, you got 3 or 4 more people to be.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
For sure.
You know, though, it's just it goes to show you, and for God's sake, let's not discount Morgan, who's a successful teacher.
Yeah.
And I mean, you know, she's done great as well. 3 kids, all of them awesome. At the same time, you're building a huge business. Hats off.
Thank you. Yeah. When they were so much younger and I was raising them, I would remember I'd be doing deals and I had to set my alarm to go let Drew off the bus and like all those things. And I remember like taking him to school in the morning. We would do moms are doing this right now.
They are.
Hats off to them. It's like the spelling and everything else. And I'm done with all of that. I'm to the point where I get to kind of have my fruits of all of that. And I tell people constantly that are looking in this area, schools, bar none, the best in the area. Like my kids have gone on and competed against kids from private schools, charter schools. They've got nothing on Jackson.
I agree. I've got one that's graduating from Brown.
Yeah.
This spring.
Yeah.
I mean, you know,
Helena, no dummy, right?
Yeah, no. I mean, you know, I'm taking zero credit for that, but she, our schools obviously got them ready.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I hope they would tell you that too.
I love the fact that those kids come home for break and they all get together and see each other. They all
think
still,
it's fun.
it's great.
I think it's fun. Yeah.
Got anything else, Wiley?
You know, I'm just always looking for that next listing.
How do they find you?
When you're looking right now, you're willing to pick up some
Expand
agents
the business?
if it's the right fit.
I'm always looking for the right seat on the bus. Always looking to fill. Always looking to bring somebody off the bench and have them starting. And I have a lot of leads. So, that's one of the things that we really focus on is leads and someone that can come and help service our buyers. And this is listing season. So it's one of those things where I'm out there every day cracking it and hoping for the best. And you're not gonna get someone much more competitive than me. So I like someone coming in that's competitive as well. And I just want to work hard for my people. But I've had the same phone number for years and years and years, which you guys, thank you for advertising it. You can reach me at that. Everybody can reach me at my cell phone number as well. Email me, whatever you need. It's one of those things I always tell people, if I don't get back to you right away, I'm with a client. When I'm with a client, that's my number one. When I walk out of there, I will answer. That's what I do.
Call you back.
And I won't stop.
Yep.
Yeah.
Give her a call, guys.
Yeah. What is that number? I don't have it memorized.
Office number is 740-577-3795.
37. I remember that now.
Yep.
And I do answer it.
You do.
So
Yes, you
I
do.
do answer the phone.
I don't have anything else. You got anything else?
No, just it was a pleasure.
Yes. I've
Thanks,
enjoyed
guys.
that.
Yes.
We need to start doing like a real estate quarterly thing or something. Even if you could just like a little clip, send us like what's happening right now in the real estate world.
I love that. I loved anything educational wise, right? That we can
Yeah,
teach,
yeah.
that
Well,
we can teach our people.
It's so valuable to people that have no idea.
Well, if you can help the seller, that helps you.
Yeah.
Like, you know, if you're walking into a better situation, it just allows you to do your thing even more.
Well, I think people a lot of times are like watching the news and there's the naysayers.
Yeah,
I say,
sure.
just call the experts.
Yeah.
Call me. I'll tell you what's going on in the industry. It's like one of those things where it's never as good or as bad as what you think it's going to be. And it's always a good time to list or buy, depending on your situation and what you need to do.
There we go.
Right?
Thank you very much for joining us.
Thanks,
Coming
guys.
back?
Yeah.
I'll come back.
Appreciate it.
Thanks. Thanks for letting the girl come in.
See you next time.
Hey, and we got these delicious. We're going to keep it a secret who made these.
I bet you can guess.
Oh yeah, just one guess who made it. Old fashions. How was it?
He has been a past guest. Yeah, it's an old fashioned.
Old fashioned. Oh,
Elijah Craig Rye.
do you like it?
Oh,
It's delicious. That
Oh,
might
hell
be.
yeah.
That's pretty good old fashioned.
yeah, it is.
I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, he's not messing around.
Nah, he's done that before.
Guy didn't walk in wondering how to make
How
one.
to make an old fashioned? Did it?
No, he knew.
He did.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't need to be fun because he's the fun one.
Yeah, he get a little fun. All right, Chubby.
Hey, cheers. Like and subscribe. See.